Rugby is the greatest sport in the world. I cannot believe what we've just watched. How unbelievable has this weekend been, and how ridiculous was that 80 minutes? Is that the greatest game you've ever seen? It's up there, isn't it? Oh my goodness. I don't honestly know what to say after that, except I didn't want it to end. I mean, I wanted it to end because my blood pressure this weekend with the 4 quarter-finals is... my heart rate. God, I cannot imagine how you feel if you're French. I cannot imagine the elation that you're feeling if you're South African. Let's just say, I know it's no consolation if you're a France fan right now, or if you're rooting for France. But both teams, wow. Just thank you for the most unbelievable couple of hours of absolute sporting theatre. I cannot believe that match. I cannot believe that game. Yeah, I didn't want it to end. Like I say, I needed it to end for my blood pressure and sanity, but I didn't want it to end because it meant that one of those teams had to lose. And neither team deserved to lose because they are incredible rugby teams. That was 46 world-class athletes going toe-to-toe. That was like a 15-round boxing match where they are slugging it out. It's like a movie script. It's unreal. Unreal. And I've hit record as soon as the final whistle's gone, so I apologise if what you're getting is me trying to make sense in real time with what we just watched. But I cannot believe that game. Oh wow. That was peak rugby, wasn't it? I've been saying for the last week, with the 4 quarter-final matchups looking so finely balanced, I was saying, you know, this has the potential to be the greatest weekend of rugby we've ever seen. And that sounds like a massive hyperbolic statement, but is that what we've just watched? Have we just sat through the last couple of days the greatest weekend of international rugby ever? Because it's incredible. That is peak rugby. That is peak rugby right now. This is a weekend we'll be talking about. We'll be in a pub or a rugby club, and many years from now, we'll be sat and we'll be reminiscing about great games, and we'll talk about this weekend. Wow. Thank you, France. Thank you, South Africa. Do you know what? Having watched England-Fiji earlier, it was like watching rugby from another planet. And it's up there with it even surpassed Ireland v South Africa earlier in the tournament. I guess because the stakes were greater. Both were unbelievable games. But it was like watching rugby from another planet. It was like watching it in double speed versus England-Fiji earlier. The ferocity, the speed of everything that was done, the intensity was incredible. So, right, where do you start? How do you make sense of that? 29-28. Wow. Wow. Firstly, I can't believe I entertained even the prospect of, you know, maybe it would be safer if Antoine Dupont didn't start. That guy is outrageous. And I said this in the build-up, I'm glad that the one good thing out of the fact that France are playing South Africa, aside from it just being a game for the ages, is that either Siya Kolisi or Antoine Dupont would be in a semi-final and will be favourites to make a final. And because they are the two biggest names in our sport. They're the biggest ambassadors we've got. They are carrying rugby on their shoulders. Antoine Dupont, he's just unbelievable. No one deserved to be on a losing team. No one deserved to be on a losing team. Right, okay. Enough of me just saying how unbelievable it was. Let me actually try and talk about the game. I mean, it just started at a ferocious pace. And France were on top. And that's one of the stories of the game, is France were on top first half, second half, early on. And they didn't get enough points in those periods. And that might be the story of the game. I mean, they just started, like, went out the traps like the clappers. And then it was the handling. Dupont, Penaud, Cyril Bay, what a try. And that was from a driving maul as well, that you thought, wow, that's a statement. Big driving maul, try, they're on. There was Damien Penaud and Donty in the line out, so they're still innovating. And then, you know, Penaud and Donty were in the line out. Cyril Bay on the wing. Unbelievable. And then Etzebeth saved South Africa's bacon. A massive moment. Eben Etzebeth, what a game. His carry for the try, decisive try, but his the interception he did, which the French crowd was sort of thinking was a knock-on, but he definitely hit it backwards. The intelligence, the awareness and the athleticism to be able to do that. And he played the whole game. He was an absolute colossus. There were so many massive performances. It's really hard to single anybody out. Piato Malvaca for France was... there's so many great players. But Eben Etzebeth was enormous. And South Africa came with a plan, didn't they? The big crossfield kicks, the box kicks, and they were competing brilliantly. And two of their tries came from those that competing, wasn't it? Arentz's try was Eben Etzebeth competing for the crossfield box kick, and the conversion out wide from Marnie Libok. And bearing in mind, people have been talking about his goal kicking. Like, you look back on it now, 1 point game, that conversion from the touchline from Libok was as important as any point South Africa got. Massive. France could have been 14-0 up. As it was 7-7, and that felt like a shift. And then there was that try from Dialende. Again, it was a kick to compete. Pieter-Steph du Toit this time was underneath it. Woki probably should have caught it, but Dialende took the advantage and went through. Then it was the Dupont quick tap. Anybody else would have taken the 3 points on offer. Dupont saw it in a way that no one else does. Tap, go, bang, try, in the wing again. And yeah, they were cancelling each other out, but you felt France probably needed to have got more out of that period. And then it was the Colby try, wasn't it? 3 attacks in France's 22, and South Africa scored 3 tries. And that was unbelievable, clinical, sensational stuff. And then Cyril Bay again with another try, converted, made it 19-all. And a massive moment, 39 minutes, Eben Etzebeth hit on Antonio. I mean, it's one of those, yeah, I'm glad it was only a yellow card. I can understand why it was a yellow card, but I also think I just felt sorry for Etzebeth on that one because, you know, he's a massive man and I felt he did dip, but fine. As it happened, it didn't affect the result. And let's give credit where credit's due. Ben O'Keefe, I thought, was great. Him and Wayne Barnes in the 2 quarterfinals in Paris have been fantastic for my money. Wayne Barnes is the best referee in the world. Ben O'Keefe had a great game, and one real calm moment. There was Faf de Klerk trying to milk a penalty, throwing it at I can't remember the French player, chucking it at his back, trying to milk a penalty, and Ben O'Keefe, calm as you like, with 4 minutes on the clock, just wasn't having any of it. But then the second half, and again similar script, South Africa, the amount of pressure they absorbed, and France couldn't make their pressure count, and yeah. But it was 25-19, wasn't it, to France? And then Andre Pollard comes on. And they get a penalty. And you think, right, Pollard's on. But they don't go for the post. They go for the corner and score. That is world champion guts right there. Making those big calls and then backing yourself and pulling it off. And what a carry from Eben Etzebeth. Big moment as well, 75 minutes, Matthew Jalabert, who is footwork and his just skills are incredible. He goes off, Ramos is at 10, and he messes up the kick to touch. And France then have to play from their own line. And they looked like they were going to do it at one point, but it was Faf de Klerk who made the crucial turnover as France were running through. And do you know what? That's one of the other things I take from this. All the talk was about who should start for South Africa, who should be on the bench and stuff. And I talked about it when the teams were announced. And I talked about it even more so when you watched Wales yesterday. And you go, I get what Rassie Erasmus is up to here. World Cup winners coming off the bench. In big games that go right down to the wire, the people that finish the game can be maybe more important even than the people that start the game. So it's not about who's best, start them. It's who's best for the role that you need them to do. And Rassie Erasmus, and Jacques Nienaber are showing that rugby is a 23-man game, and sometimes who is on the pitch at the end of a match is of massive consequence. And Faf de Klerk was full of energy. Quagga Smith, full of energy. Andre Pollard slotted his kick. The resilience of South Africa was sensational. Absolutely sensational. To absorb the pressure they did. But I feel so bad for France. I feel so bad for France. The home World Cup, a country rugby mad, and you just want both teams to win. And yes, people will talk about the draw, and England are in a semi-final, and and Argentina are in a semi-final, and okay, but we can't have two things. We can't have two things here. Firstly, we can't keep talking about the World Cup draw. We've talked about it a lot. But you can't have both things. You can't have the top 4 teams in the world going through to a semi-final and have the games we've just watched this weekend. And we just need to be grateful for the rugby that we've seen. It is incredible. Do you know what? I honestly feel privileged, the fact that I'm just sat here chatting about it, and I don't feel qualified to chat about rugby like that, because that was just unbelievable. As you can see, I'm sat in the van talking about this, and do you know what? That was a wise move. Partly because I'm going to record a podcast in a second, so that's my priority. But the nerves, I would have had to have had a couple of beers, and then who knows, the night would have deteriorated and it would have totally messed up my journey back to Paris. So I'm very happy being in the van, watching it on my own, and wow. I apologise that maybe I haven't got as much detail as I would like. That's what I'll maybe do tomorrow morning. Just in awe. I'm in awe of both of those rugby teams. In absolute awe of both of those rugby teams. And thank you for just like an unbelievable game of rugby. Wow. That is going to live long in the memory, isn't it? That is going to live long in the memory. And you know, I know rugby's doing brilliantly here in France. In the UK, not so well. But how anyone who's a casual rugby fan, or maybe drifted away from the sport and just tuned in, how anyone can watch the rugby this weekend and not just think, this is a sport I need to get on board with. I don't know what else. There's no better advert for our sport. It's been unbelievable. It's been incredible. Anyway, you don't want to just hear me going, wow, wow, wow all night. So I will maybe do another video when I've had time to sort of digest what just happened. But thank you very much for supporting the channel. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up, and enjoy that one if you're South African, and chin up if you're a French fan, because you've got an unbelievable rugby team who, they're a young team as well. They're going to be around for a long, long time. They'll have their moment, but South Africa, well done. Enjoy it. Oh, that's that. Right, I'm done.